Hello and welcome to Once Driven Forever Smitten. I'm about to drive to London in the Omega. Done a bit of work on it before it goes, changed the spark plugs in it, checked over the tyre pressures, checked oil, checked the coolant, usual things. Filled it with super unleaded Tesco's 99 octane to see how it does on the way down, because we'll fill it with normal E10 crap for the way back up and see how it compares. But should be a decent run for the car. I've also got the road angel to test out, first good run for that. So hopefully the traffic isn't too busy and we get some decent fuel economy. Let's see how it goes. Just giving the tyre pressures a check, which is important, and this one's down about 22. The back near side was down about that as well. So, important to keep an eye on these things on a long run. I'm only taking some tools because I've got to go to the scrapyard on the Saturday. So I'll take my sockets, my battery gun, my trolley jack, full size spare wheel, because need that if you're doing 1,000 miles or so. Put the big toolbox in the back of the Vectra and the big socket set for the time being, and just take the essentials. Mike and Dave down the road should have a full complement of tools. It'll save me carrying them. So I want to draw your attention to the rather spectacular and beautiful sunset that's behind me. Nice, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, end of November. Very pretty. It's cold though, damn cold. I'm gonna get in the car, freezing. Was a spectacular sunset. It didn't last long, kind of losing it now. That's just crossed the border into England. Road angel just gave me an alert about a train or something, I don't know. I made decent time anyway. I had to take a little diversion up through Wilson Town and Braehead, which doesn't really make any difference to how long the journey takes you. The road's shut there for some badly needed resurfacing. And then I turned right at Hindford Bridge instead of going left, because there was a more annoying selection of cars going out that way. Here's somebody in a Honda Jazz who's sped up as I've got alongside them. Give it some more acceleration off the cruise control. So the car's running in super unleaded, and I tell you what, since I put the spark plugs in it, it's a damn sight more lively. It was really picked up to how it was before. It was like a combination of the two, between the 99 octane and the fresh plugs in it, but it's going along nicely. The main issue I have with the Omega, which I've mentioned before on the channel, is the heavy flywheel. So it really doesn't have much get up and go. You need to get it up past 3,000 RPM and push it hard to get it to move. So many cars which are much less powerful and faster overall will pull away from it at low revs and light throttle. But anyway, yep, heading down to Heathrow Terminal 2, and I'm just going to see if I can manage it without stopping, bladder dependent. See how we do. But the car's running nicely. We're sitting just about 3/4 of a tank of fuel. It's got 112 miles racked up on the clocks. Tends to do 425, 430 to tank this car on a run down to Sutton, which isn't as far as Heathrow. I have to bear in mind that I did do 26 miles back from Musselburgh on this tank as well, so probably works out about the same, and we'll make it down there on one tank no problem. Then of course on Saturday, when I head back up and go via the scrapyard for a bit of adventuring and video, I'll put crappy old E10 into it, crappy new E10, and we'll see what happens with that, see what difference it makes to the fuel economy. But aye, car's running nicely. Slight vibration off the wheels because I've got those Unsure rims on it, which aren't entirely round anymore. And despite the best efforts of my balancing, there's still that little bit of vibration. But I'm just going relatively easy. I'm sitting at on the cruise control at 80 on the clocks, which is 75 miles an hour overall, which is just stealing that extra bit of speed that you get, which is within the 10+2 allowance that a lot of places give you. Well, nobody's going to bother you for that anyway. And if you're sitting at constant speed for 6 hours and you click up 5 miles an hour for each of those, it makes a bit of a difference, I find anyway. And besides, if you're sitting at dead on the speed limit, if you're doing 70 on the clock, which is about 65, you'll constantly end up getting boxed in things, and you'll have people who speed up and slow down and can't maintain a continuous speed, and you end up in scope of them and being around them, so it's a pain. So I like to just go that little tiny bit faster. There's a road angel giving me another safety camera van alert. It seems to have picked them all up on the way down so far. I kind of know where they all sit on the M74 and the M6, so, but useful that anyway. It's good to bear that in mind. That'll be really handy on roads that I'm not familiar with. But I shall check in with you again at Preston.
My experience told them.
That's us coming into Preston now at the illuminated bit of road, making some decent time. There's no traffic on the road, I've no any reason to slow down. One police car came past me down at Sharp. He was going pretty quick, a 70 plate Volvo, sort of 4x4 thing, I don't know what they're called. But he wasn't hanging about anyway, so we're just coming up to roughly about the halfway stage, probably around Charnock Richard. And the Omega just eats the miles up. The car's slightly shorter geared than I would like it to be, and I'm curious to find out if the estate is differently geared compared to the saloon. Because I do think it's a wee bit short for a big car. It's sitting at 3,400 RPM at 75 miles an hour at the moment. And it would be nicer if it was sitting about 3,000 there. It had a bit more legs on it. It's a wee bit short. But I don't know if I was to change the diff to a limited slip one from a 3 litre, if that would maybe lengthen the gearing a bit. I don't know. I need to get an Omega brochure and look these things up. Maybe it's something I'd like to do in the future. It's not a priority at the moment, but on the basis that I'm not getting rid of this car anytime soon, and it doesn't make any sense to, because it's only done 30,613 miles, it may be worth considering looking into gearbox and diff options in the future. I think I am going to have to go and look into getting some new wheels for it, because these Ultra ones, as smart as they are buckled. And it's just putting that little vibration up through the car. But you'll find that a recurring theme in all my cars is I like cars that can cover long distances, that will sit on the motorway well. That's why every car I've got is equipped with cruise control. Won't drive one without it. And that's something I've always liked, is covering long distances, sort of endurance driving, not hanging about, getting somewhere, covering a distance or making a journey where people go, "Hey, you did what? That's mad, I couldn't do that." It's like, no problem. That's why I like cars that sit on the road nice, cover great distances. I'd like to do maybe a bit of cross European stuff in 2022, right across to the eastern side, or away down south into Spain, something like that. We'll have to see. But all the cars are the same like that. The Cavalier was one of the definitive motorway cars of the 90s. And of course the Omega was a very well known police car as well. And I was sitting just over half a tank of fuel, 208 miles on the clock. It sits just above the half for a long time, so I'm expecting to get that normal sort of 420, 430 out of tank. I could sit and go slower, but I've experimented with it going to Harrogate and back a couple of months back, and it didn't save me any fuel at all. The car does the same fuel economy doing 65 as it does 75. So work that out, I don't know. But anyway, I shall log back in again when I'm down at the M6 toll. It's always good to never be the fastest thing on the motorway. Not that I'm going particularly. I just like running Google Maps or Waze at all times, just in case there's an accident or something, and it'll tell you about it. It's decent traffic.
Keep right at the fork to stay on M6.
Yeah, well, it's 3.5 degrees outside,
On M6 for 86 miles.
and I was getting blasted with hot air with the temperature at 20 degrees, so I put it into E10 in the car, and it's now turned into a bloody fridge. Yep, there's a road angel telling me there's a black spot ahead. Just sitting in the outside lane there, not moving anywhere, just blocking up the road. Long section of average speed cameras which have appeared since I've last been on the M6. There's another one just sitting in the middle lane. It's a nightmare, the average speed cameras, the way people drive through them.
Warning, average speed monitoring ahead. Speed limit.
Oh, thank goodness that's the end of it here. Oh, average speed cameras are properly tedious to have to drive through. Here comes Mr. Porsche. He's not going to be too impressed because I passed him in the average speed cameras, but he'd slowed right down, so he'll be chipping on now, I imagine. German number plates on it. Go on yourself. Hey, he's finally moved over after having traffic run up the inside of them. This is one of the new 4-lane smart motorway sections, and of course you see nobody actually uses correct lane discipline. These cars could all be over a lane. Doesn't help things. Why are you in this lane? You're not overtaking anything. Well, he is right now. He's not going to move over. Once he's done it, he's all steamed up. You've pissed yourself, mate. Nobody moves to the left. You will tend to find that the inside two lanes will only be occupied by trucks in the main. Now look at this guy. Have to slow right down and then come out to go out past him. Thank you very much, Road Angel, telling me there's cameras there. Good grief, he's going right into the inside lane there. I have to admit, I wouldn't have done that because I'm looking at that truck up there that would be overtaken in a few seconds. And there's the cameras there, and the Road Angel has picked it up just perfectly. So here's us rolling down to the roadworks at Stafford. These average speed camera zones going for about 20 miles, and the roadworks take years to be completed. I firmly believe that there will never be any end to roadworks on the M6 in my lifetime. They're putting sections of smart motorway, and we just came through a big bit, a newer bit. This bit should be nearer to finish. Now that makes a hell of a difference there. I don't know if you could see it. There's a 60 mph speed limit in this part of it now, which is really good because it stops the cars being in the road of the lorries so much. It means all the trucks can just run through here on the speed limiter. That's moved on a fair bit, but it takes so long and there's so many diversions at night and everything. It's difficult if you're on a lorry, especially when you're getting diverted through Stafford. As you can see, there's barely a thing on the road. It's nice and quiet, which is good.
Warning, average speed monitoring ahead. Speed limit 60.
Thank you. We've covered 250 miles so far.
Warning, average speed
154 miles to go.
speed limit 60.
It will be interesting to see what the Omega comes back with fuel economy wise. Those run at the same pace I usually do. We're sitting just above a quarter of a tank, although that's a fair old amount of fuel. Still, it's hard to judge the gauge on this because it sits at certain points for a really long time before moving in quite a big section. It doesn't go down sort of incrementally, it goes in sections. Well, this should be interesting. It says lane closed due to vehicle fire. We're still in the long section of average speed camera roadworks for the smart motorway. This is very nearly finished. All 4 lanes are tarmacked and laid out with the cat's eyes and lines. So it must be opening imminently. Hope it's open for Christmas. That would be nice. Vehicle fire. Presume it's been put out by now. Oh, maybe not. We've got a lot of orange lights over there. Oh, hope everybody's okay. Let's all rubberneck. I haven't said that. It is 40 miles an hour just up there. Can't see anything, just some lights. And
Big safety camera.
is that a tar planing machine? Maybe they're just finishing off where they've had to repair the road. Kind of looks like it. Ah, lovely. There's the national speed limit sign ahead. Oh, let's brake. Okay. Road Angel's picked up that it's 40 there, which is good because I have paid for the speed camera. I've paid for the smart motorway subscription. I'll just pick that up. Right. Come on, we're out of the average speed cameras now. Let's go. I have decided that I could easily drive the whole way in without stopping, but I've also realised that I haven't had any dinner and I'm starving. So I'm going to stop in at the McDonald's at Norton Keynes on the M6 toll to get something to munch, which won't take very long anyway. There you go, the M6 toll. I don't know if it would probably be alright to drive down through Birmingham the normal way at this time of night. It's 8:15, but it's not really worth finding out if work are going to reimburse you for using the toll road anyway. Wonderful bit of road, but you've got to be careful because the police do definitely monitor it, because it had a reputation back in the day when it opened for being like a racetrack. People were quite excited and even somehow thought that laws didn't apply because it was a private road. Well, they very much do, and there's been some crazy speeds recorded on this. It's a cracking bit of motorway, it's never ever particularly busy. But then of course, so it should be, because it's expensive. And if you're in a truck, it's even more so. But it's also necessary because of the traffic jams that you continually get round about Birmingham, because they're always messing about with the motorway down there with roadworks as well. It's very much their prerogative to go and drop it down to one lane and screw you up if you're doing night trunking, which I used to do a lot. I used to go down to Birmingham double manned 5 nights a week, which was fun. Not. Anyway, I can definitely feel that vibration coming up through the back of the car from the wheels where they're just juddering a bit, so it's a shame because they're beautiful wheels and they were very kindly donated free of charge when I got them refurbished, and they look mint but they're not quite circular anymore, so I may have to look for an alternative. I might take them off and see if they need balanced again, maybe some weights have come off them. Anyway, half a mile from Norton Keynes services. As we can see here, here is someone who doesn't know how to use the motorway. Let's just sit in the middle lane! Moron! Of course we're coming off here anyway, so I'll just make very much a point there. There we go. Moron! There's so many of them.
In 150 yards, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto the M6 toll slip road.
No, I'm going for a munch. I'm Hank Marvin here. Wait a minute, I was just thinking about that, because by the time I get down to this hotel there might not be anything to eat. And I hate going to bed starving.
Exit the roundabout onto the slip road.
Whatever. How much is it? £1.66 for normal unleaded. Bastards! I'm nice and quiet in here anyway. Sling it in here, that's about the quietest I've ever seen it in here.
Head east.
Oh, it is not warm out there. It's only 1.5 degrees according to the car temperature readout, so better get the hat on. Go and run in and grab something from McD's. Don't even really need the loo, it's good. It's so quiet in here, it's absolutely dead. I am just about the only person in here, which is good because it means there shouldn't be a queue for McDonald's. What I can get. I've never seen Norton Keynes this quiet. It's always busier than this. Weird. No, it's like Monday night, but all the same, that's quite odd. I have purchased a light back on. I have purchased a festive stack, whatever that is. Looked alright. Oh, and I got a bacon mayo chicken on the side, and obviously the fries, but I just got medium fries. You never know with them, they can be a little bit hit and miss. Oh, and a curry dip. So we'll just get this set up. Because obviously I'm not going to sit here and eat it. Just isn't the professional way. Oh, I'm going to refill the coffee as well, because I just brought some hot water in the coffee. Yeah, well, we may as well get a move on again. Just squashed my mayo chicken under the handbrake. Oops.
quarter of a mile.
126
at the roundabout,
miles.
Take the first exit onto the M6 toll slip road.
I think it's been a little bit heavy on petrol. I don't think I've been particularly heavy on it. Any worse than I am normally, but it's, I don't know. This is super unleaded in it as well. I'm expecting a little bit better. $166.9 for normal unleaded. So you can imagine what price the super's going to be in there. Probably about 20 pence on top of that, I would guess. Easy.
Keep left at the fork.
That bloody flywheel. Can't remember how far it is to the toll booth from this side. Know that they're just to the other side when you come north. So quiet. You probably can't see anything because it's dark in here. There's like one car in the distance in front of me. I'm getting this munch. We're now on the well illuminated section of the M42. I got through the M6 toll booth no problem. Didn't do any video of that bit because Bob Beach was on the phone. Because he's going on this press trip with us tomorrow. It's a little bit more traffic round here. You do always pick up that extra bit round the 42, no matter what time of day it is. Well, McDonald's was good. All the sauce fell out the burger all over the seat, but thankfully it's leather seats now, so it just wiped off. Why are you indicating? You're just driving along with your indicator on. Pay attention, moron. Right, we come round here and then we get on the good old M40. Nice old-fashioned motorway, no stupid overhead gantries, no variable speed limits, a hard shoulder, nice and dark, pretty bloody fast section of motorway, I reckon. Anytime I've been on it, there's always a lot of German cars, Merc, BMWs nowadays, tanking it along, faster than I go, which is good. Here we go, what are we getting here? We've got 50 miles an hour on the gantries.
Take the M40 exit to London, Warwick.
2 miles until we come off here. 50. For no, there will be no reason for this probably. There was a 60 back there for no reason and it just went back up to national speed limit again. These smart motor, they're always fucking about with the speed limits here. Workforce in, roads slow. But like one man sitting in a van somewhere up here. Okay, you don't need to go that slowly through here. You're already doing 50. You don't need to slow down to like 45 in the outside lane, pal. On you go. I'm like running up the inside of people. But they do insist on slowing down. I can't get in the inside lane. This lorry's speeding up. You'll just want to sit in his limiter. But why is everybody... Look, you don't need to slow down that much every time you go under a gantry, pal. And now it's saying 40. No need, there's not even any roadworks or anything in the vicinity here, and it's telling us to slow down to 40 way before we're getting to anywhere. Oh, here we go now. Stop braking, you don't need to brake, you're in the wrong lane. You messed that up. So they're not even, they're on the slip road, they're not even on the main bit of road.
In a quarter of a mile at junction
Oh, the
3A,
Citroen has
use the
decided
left
it wants
two
this
lanes
lane.
to take the M40 exit to London, Warwick.
Oh well, M40 all the way down to the M25 and then it's not too far to
Use the
Heathrow.
left two lanes to exit at junction 3A.
96 miles to go.
Continue on M40 for 85 miles.
85 miles on this. Yay, M40. That's us just coming off the M25 in a second.
Use the left two lanes to exit at junction 1A, then keep right at the
That's us just coming off the M40 to join the M25. Quite a lot of salt been spread on the roads. Temperature is 2 degrees, so fair enough. Passed quite a few cars that had already passed me on the way, because people don't use cruise control, or they don't have it, so they don't maintain a constant speed. So they're varying between like 60 and 90 it seems a lot of the time. This Saab came tanking it past me there. Take it he doesn't know how to drive around corners. Doesn't look much like it. Right, you're doing about 100 when you came alongside us there. Came in the slip road. Not anymore. I don't know. People drive in such inconsistent, random ways. You don't need to brake for this corner, pal. You don't need to brake at all. Just go into it and accelerate around it. Anyway, we've got 9.7 miles to go before we get to the hotel at Terminal 2. That's us coming up on M25. A road which can be jammed up with traffic at any time of day, at any day of the week. Thankfully it looks pretty quiet now. There's Mr. Saab off again. I could drive fast in a straight line. Well, anybody can, pal. Doing alright on fuel, the fuel lights come on, but we're rolling over, getting close to 430 miles to a tank, and the light has not started flashing yet, which is good.
Warning, fixed safety camera. Speed limit 70.
Anyway, let's get to the hotel. I'm pretty tired. Sometimes I can be right in the zone. Well, here we've got 60 miles an hour, queue ahead. Really? Well, maybe on the M25. God, look at the shake on that camera mount there. And that's the wheels sending up through the car. Just that little minor bit of vibration coming up through it. Is there a queue? Let's find out. Here we go, 40 miles an hour. Now they always say that these smart motorway gantries are set up correctly for the speed of the road. And look, there's nothing here. There's a gigantic gap in front of me. About 800 yards before the next vehicle. Is there a queue? Doesn't look like it to me. That's only 3 miles until I come off here. Oh look, we're going back up to 50 miles an hour now. Workforce and road slow again. Where's the queue though? These gantries are the bane of my life when I encounter them. They're unbelievably stupid. They don't work properly. There we go, and as we come round here,
2 miles.
the gantry's switched off.
Left lane to exit.
So it's gone 40, 50, nothing. And there's nothing on the road. They're over there, mucking about with some cones, which isn't even on the motorway, they're like off the slip road. What a nonsense. Really easy for you to get caught out. You're not quite watching what you're doing. You'll get pinged by one of those reduced limit cameras. There's a BMW with 4 big exhausts, 71 plate. Oh no, he's speeding up now. Yeah, he's woken up. And there we go, national speed limit gantries there. Oh, now he's slowing down again. But high. We're going off here anyway.
In half a mile.
Then with 3 miles, I'm right at the side of the airport, so this is a fair trek to go round here. Contact lenses are going all dry.
At the roundabout, take the second exit and stay on right way.
Oh, they're going pretty fast. What's the speed limit through here? 30 apparently. So there's no point in shoving this up doing 80, 85 in it because it knackers the fuel economy.
Continue straight to stay on Northern Perimeter Road West.
Which means you've got to make a stop to put fuel in the thing. And obviously you don't want to be using services, so you've got to cut off somewhere. So it's a false economy because you're losing, you're losing the time that you make up in speed by having to put fuel in. Round to the left and round to the right, 1.7 miles. Fuel light still isn't flashing, we've got 434 miles on the clocks.
Warning, fixed safety camera. Speed limit 30.
That's good, sometimes it comes on at about 420. The super unleaded and new spark plugs combination must be helping.
In a quarter of a mile, use the right lane to turn slightly left onto Newport Road.
Okay, so we're going into the airport tunnel. Come on, don't come at a dead stop, no need. I mean, people just can't drive. Oh, this is bright. Okay, let's do 12 miles an hour. I think hear the exhaust. A little bit. Just a little bit. Couldn't do that, there's not very much petrol in the car. I'm going to have to get some when I get back on Thursday night. Or Thursday afternoon anyway. Come on. I can see a Hilton, but I don't know how to get to it. Oh, this is complicated. I think I found the hotel. Guest entrance, okay, let's try that. Fuel light's flashing now, you'll know. That's really awkward to work that out. Okay, so where's the car parking? How are you supposed to know where to go? Well, the internet's lied to me. The hotel doesn't have a car park, so doing about 4 laps of Heathrow Terminal 2, I drove up to reception and they said, no, we don't have a car park. So I've had to go to Terminal 2 where I am booked for parking tomorrow, but I've had to get a ticket for the moment anyway, which might confuse things when I try to get out. I don't know. This is probably going to be about 60, 70 quid just to park overnight, but I'm not paying for it. Somebody else can pay. Okay, so that's the Omega journey complete. 430 miles on a tank of fuel, 67 litres. So what we need to do now is repeat the experiment on E10 petrol and try and keep the sort of same average speed and see what the results come back as. So I'll catch you next time on this one. It might be a few weeks before I do the return journey again, but we will definitely come back to it and we'll see what the difference is. Shit, I just absolutely crapped myself there. Clouds of stinking smoke, but you can see it in the back window, you can't see anything, and I thought it was coming out the Omega, but it isn't. Coming out something else. Stink.